Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today we're diving into a report that's like a corporate oopsie daisy, where someone accidentally swapped the numbers on a test. It's Bionano Genomics, and their Form 8K amendment involves a bit of a correction, a little mix-up in the voting results. So what happened at Bionano? While the initial report had some errors in how the votes were counted for a couple of proposals at their meeting, it turns out the broker non-votes, which are basically votes that brokers holding shares for clients don't cast, were mixed up. It's not exactly a scandal, but it's important to get the numbers right because it changes who voted for what. But before we get into these voting results, if you appreciate getting straight insights from corporate documents, make sure you're subscribed. We also have a Discord community linked in the description for an even deeper dive. Alright, let's look at what this amendment to the original report on Form 8K is all about. The company says that they needed to correct an error in reporting of, you guessed it, the broker non-votes on one of the proposals, and also to fix up the votes for numbers from one of their other proposals, and also to fix up the votes for numbers from one of their other proposals. The good news is that the changes didn't impact the final outcome of the vote, but they had to correct it to keep everything accurate. Let's see what exactly changed. First, we had Proposal 3, which was about picking the company's accounting firm. The original report showed a certain number of votes for votes against and abstentions, as well as a number for broker non-votes. The company stockholders agreed with the pick of BDO USA PC as their independent accounting firm for the year. Basically, the numbers showed that out of those who voted, most people were okay with the selection. Originally, they said around 744 broker non-votes were related to this proposal. In reality, there were actually none, 0. The corrected version of the report fixes this, showing no broker non-votes for the ratification of the accounting firm, so more than 1 million voters approved the selection while 99,000 voted against it and around 80,000 abstained. Now, let's switch over to Proposal 4. This one involves approving the company issuing shares of its own stock when certain purchase warrants are exercised. Warrants are kind of like options. They give the holder the right to buy the stock at a specific price. The company's asking OK to issue an aggregate of 661,374 shares of common stock. In the original report, it looked like 369,176 voters were in favour. However, the correct number is 396, adding roughly 27,000 more votes that pushed the proposal through. Interestingly, the number of broker non-votes was originally reported as none, but the amendment fixes this and reports them as actually 744 votes. Even with those non-votes, though, it's for 29,744 votes. Even with those non-votes, though, it seems a majority of the folks who actually cast a vote said go ahead. So, the corrected report shows a different picture. With 396 votes for, while 311,061 people voted against, with around 5,000 abstained. Even with the large number of broker non-votes, it seems like the proposal easily passed. What does this all mean? These kinds of errors can happen, and while they're not usually a huge deal, it just shows how important it is to get the details right. Even so, this does not appear to be a failure of the system. Alright, after going through the two corrected proposals, what can we take away from all of this? Well, the CEO signed off on it, so it must be good. Now, what's my take on Bionano? First off, it's good to see that the company caught these errors themselves and issued a correction. It shows they're paying attention, even if they initially fumbled the count. Now, for broker non-votes, they usually happen when brokers don't get instructions from the shareholders on how to vote, or when the proposal isn't about a really big or controversial topic. In terms of risks, missing something like this suggests a problem or weakness with internal controls. This could lead to lack of investor confidence. In general, it gives the impression of carelessness. However, at the end, the errors were corrected, and that matters. What's your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description for more discussion and insights. Thanks for watching. See you next time.